There were various points throughout last Sunday's game between the Chicago Bears and Dallas Cowboys where it felt as though second-year quarterback Caleb Williams had officially arrived. There were moments that Bears fans have waited a long time for, not just for the 20 games that Williams has been in Chicago, but for multiple decades, as this franchise and its quarterbacks became something of a punchline around the league. Well, the Bears, their quarterbacks, and the offense as a whole may not be a punchline much longer. Against Dallas, Caleb Williams finished with 298 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a 142.6 passer rating in a 31-14 win at Soldier Field. There was an ideal mix of explosive plays, tight window throws, and taking what the Cowboys' defense was giving him. Simply put, it was the best performance of Caleb Williams' young NFL career. Yes, we need to take this performance with not just a grain, but an entire shaker of salt, considering how it looked as if the Dallas Cowboys defense had rejuvenated the career of Russell Wilson in Week 2, when less than 2 weeks later, New York Giants head coach Brian Daboll made the decision to bench Wilson in favor of rookie Jackson Dart. However, there is one stat coming out of the win versus Dallas that, if replicated against any opponent in the league, would give Caleb Williams the opportunity to pick apart any defense for the first time in his pro career. Williams made it through a game without being sacked. According to Zoltan Bude of Pro Football Focus, the Bears' offensive line only allowed 6 pressures on 29 dropbacks, leading to an 89.7 pass-blocking efficiency rating, one of the best marks of the week. When the offensive line protects like that, it's a lot easier to play from the pocket, head coach Ben Johnson said earlier this week, according to Courtney Cronin of ESPN. He's got the ability to escape and extend and all that, but man, if we can keep him in there, our playmakers are some dynamic route runners that we can get the ball to them in space. I think he saw when he plays on time, he's trusting the hitches within his drops, and we can be an explosive offense that way. The Bears were indeed explosive against Dallas. Heading into their Week 3 game, Chicago was second in the league in explosive plays, runs of 10-plus yards or passes of 20-plus yards. In their 17-point win, the Bears added 7 more such plays, 5 of which came through the air. Can Bears' offensive line keep Caleb Williams clean against Max Crosby, Raiders? The Bears' success in keeping Caleb Williams upright against the Dallas Cowboys had something to do with the fact that Jerry Jones made the curious decision to trade All-Pro edge rusher Micah Parsons before the season began. The Las Vegas Raiders, Chicago's Week 4 opponent, did not do the same thing with their star edge rusher, Max Crosby. The Raiders locked down Max Crosby for an additional 3 years back in March, making him, at the time, the highest-paid non-quarterback in league history, a well-deserved reward for an unrelenting motor and 59.5 sacks through his first 6 NFL seasons. Ben Johnson and the Bears are well aware that keeping Crosby as far away from Caleb Williams as possible will be key in allowing Caleb to replicate some of the success he had against the Dallas Cowboys. In my opinion, he's a top 5 player in this league on defense and probably doesn't get the recognition that he deserves, Johnson said of Crosby. He's all over the place. Relentless, high motor. You have to account for him and know where he is at every single snap, or else he'll get you, and he wrecks drives. That's what he does. It's about time the Dallas Cowboys were beneficiaries of some good news. Over the last 4 weeks, any semblance of optimism swirling around this squad has been sucked out thanks to a rocky 1-2 start and injuries to integral pieces of the roster in CeeDee Lamb and Tyler Booker. Add in a date with old friend Micah Parsons and the Green Bay Packers on the docket, and the campaign seems on the brink of collapse. Following Sunday's pathetic effort against the Chicago Bears, the team's woeful defense has been a popular point of contention. Dallas is 25th in pressure rate and has given up the most air yards in the league. Even with key starters Darren Bland and DeMarvion Overshown sidelined, there's no excuse for the unit to be so inept at the fundamentals. Oh, I almost forgot. The good news. Matt Eberflus will likely be in town for the next few weeks, so the only realistic way to give this defense a semblance of a pulse is by injecting much-needed talent into the lineup. In his recent presser, Brian Schottenheimer suggested former number 1 overall pick Jadeveon Clowney could be making his debut for the club in the near future. Cowboys' Brian Schottenheimer provides optimistic Jadeveon Clowney update. According to beat reporter Tommy Yarish, Schottenheimer said Clowney will work more, this week in an attempt to eventually get him active. He added that he needs to see how practice goes for the rest of the week, but he's trending towards playing on Sunday. Clowney was still a serviceable pass rusher last year in Carolina, leading the team in pressures and pressure rate. He doesn't have the same get-off he once did during his prime, but he still is a force around the edge. The trouble for Clowney will be converting more of that pressure back into sacks, after only netting 5.5 throughout his stint with the Panthers. Since Jerry Jones is such a staunch defender of ensuring his edges are viable in the run game, it's important to note that Clowney is a force at getting to the backfield. In 2024, Clowney played his most snaps against the run since 2018, showing he has plenty of gas left in the tank to earn meaningful reps right away. With Packers starting tackle Zach Tom set to miss the upcoming matchup, Green Bay will likely have to again rotate at that key position. Eberflus should start Clowney on the left side and let him go to work, hopefully producing instant results. With star CeeDee Lamb out for a few weeks with a high ankle sprain, the Dallas Cowboys have elevated Jalen Cropper from the practice squad for Sunday night's game against the Packers. Cropper will provide depth in a wide receiver room that's a little thin with Lamb out of the lineup. Cropper, a former undrafted free agent out of Fresno State in 2023, has spent his entire NFL career on the Cowboys practice squad. He was elevated for one game in 2024, but has yet to record a statistic in the regular season, though he'll have a chance to do just that against the Packers. Lamb was injured early in the Cowboys' Week 3 loss to the Bears. He lined up in the backfield and ran to the right, with the defender rolling up on his legs as he made the tackle in the flat. In 2+ games in 2025, Lamb has 16 receptions for 222 yards. He is yet to find the end zone this season. The Dallas Cowboys offense relies heavily on injured CeeDee Lamb. It's no exaggeration to say that the Cowboys offense runs through Lamb. He's their field stretcher, zone beater, one-on-one separator, and reliable third down target all in one. Since his rookie season in 2020, in which he had 74 catches for 935 yards, Lamb has had at least 1,100 receiving yards in 4 consecutive seasons. His best season statistically came in 2023, when he had 135 receptions for 1,749 yards and 12 touchdowns, dominating the NFL in every category. George Pickens was acquired from the Steelers this offseason to provide a secondary target in Dallas' offense to take some pressure off of Lamb, but now Pickens is being thrust into a role he's not ideally suited for. With Lamb out and Jonathan Mingo on injured reserve IR, the Cowboys will turn to a combination of Pickens, Jalen Tolbert, Cavani Turpin, and Ryan Flournoy. Jake Ferguson will also play a big role. He leads the team in targets and receptions so far this season and is reliable in the short and intermediate areas of the field. Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones has a lot riding on this game versus the Packers. Cowboys fans are all too familiar with Jones making a mess of things in media, and this week has been an all-timer in that regard. Jones infamously traded away Defensive Player of the Year candidate Micah Parsons before the season, ending a summer-long dramatic saga of contract negotiations, or the lack thereof. Jones didn't want to pay Parsons, and while he got a pair of first-round picks and DT Kenny Clark in return for the star pass rusher, Parsons has been a revelation in Green Bay, transforming their defense. Meanwhile, Dallas' defense has been awful to start the year, ranking near the bottom of the league in both points and yards allowed per game. The Cowboys' pass rush, in particular, has struggled without Parsons. As he returns to Dallas on Sunday night, Jones continues to take shots at his former pass rusher, claiming the team will be fine without him and insinuating Parsons is at least partially responsible for Dallas failing to win a Super Bowl during his time with the team. If Parsons has a big game in his return and the Cowboys lose, it'll put Jones's comments right back in the spotlight,